I know you're going to give She-Hulk your highest recommendation to watch as well, right?
Third favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe television series. There, I said it. Pretty
Put
good,
put that on
relatively
on the
speaking.
billboard. um, yeah, She-Hulk felt like there was potential for it to be one of the standout Marvel shows because it was really committing to a tone, right? Like even from the first episode, um, there was a silliness to it. There was a tongue-in-cheek feel to it, and there was also this, courtroom drama uh, promise that this was not going to turn into,
Mhm.
a CGI fuck fest, as
Yeah,
people like to say.
legal comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it already is a bit of a CGI fuck fest just by the fact that you cannot actually make Jennifer Walters big and green, so you just need to CGI all the time whenever she is She-Hulk.
Hmm.
But I think for all of the criticism about the CGI and all that coming in, I think She-Hulk was actually pretty successful, and I really left liking Tatiana Maslany quite a bit. I think
Hmm.
she played this role really well. I thought this was actually a really introspective uh, and reflective movie of where Marvel's at right now in terms of like
Hmm.
grappling with its identity of uh, who it was and who it is now, and um, some of it worked, some of it I think wasn't quite as good as other parts, but overall I left really satisfied. Give me your like favorite parts of She-Hulk, and then let's talk about some of the things we didn't like so much.
Yeah, totally. I think that's really spot on. The reason I have She-Hulk as like my number three after Loki and WandaVision, I think She-Hulk's kind of like clearly for me in like a tier of its own when you're ranking these MCU shows
Mm,
we've got. And I think like you said, it's because of the tone. The tone is not only committed to, but it's good. It works. Like this is actually like I think the Marvel brand done quite well, where it's
mm,
light, it's quippy, it's fun, and yet because the show is framed more often than not, but of course not always, as this kind of like legal comedy. Jessica Walters is a lawyer still, even though she's She-Hulk. That's our framing device. Because it's framed in something like that is inherently more silly or at least smaller stakes at all times. It just felt like it could be itself, which was just kind of this witty, funny stuff. That
mm.
being said, I think why the show kind of transcends a little bit above that is because it's not afraid to ruminate on like women's place in society and how they are treated, things like
Mhm.
that. You know, obviously, the show doesn't always get into that. There are episodes where that kind of talk is more prevalent than others. But given the MCU masters of it all, I think it's pretty successful and about as good as Marvel can do at kind of imbuing like more broad, higher level like commentary into one of their stories. And I
Mhm.
really appreciate that about it. Also, I really couldn't help but be charmed by the way the series ends with that finale. Obviously, we know going in that She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall. They started off in the premiere, but that's obviously well established in the comics that She-Hulk was basically Deadpool before Deadpool. We know that,
Mhm.
and it's still up and down and inconsistent across the series. But I think there are some great moments, such as the finale, where it's done to a really amazing effect and just gives She-Hulk a kind of unique identity when thought of against its MCU series peers. So, obviously there's things that are more down than up, but I really enjoyed my time with it.
One of the biggest surprises, or before we even get to that, I think one of my favorite parts of it was the supporting cast, right? And now I can tie this in. One of the biggest surprises to me was just how much Tim Roth was involved with this,
Mm,
in I think 3 or 4 episodes in total. And I think his turn as Emil Blonsky, Abomination. Obviously, I think he's reprising a role
yeah.
from one of the earlier Hulk movies, right? If I'm
Incredible Hulk. He
remembering.
hasn't
Yeah.
done this since 2008. Been a while.
I think when like the episode where she goes and she's kind of stuck there because her car gets ruined by one of the
Right.
guys. I think that's
No
probably one of
cell
my favorite.
signal, all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my favorite episodes of the whole thing. Not only in terms of the like mindfulness and like mental health aspect that's brought into it, obviously for me, but I think the like way that it takes characters who like bringing back the guy from the first episode who tried to like beat her up, and like really like allows them to like redeem themselves and like kind of like frame that like yeah, like people can be shitty, but like that doesn't mean that you have to like always paint them that way. There is a chance for redemption. I think that some of those themes really like stood out. And as you move towards the finale, I think that made some of the themes of Jessica Walters, her downfall, her return to I don't know, promise or acceptance in society all feel a little bit more earned. And of course, uh, I'm kind of going off into the Emil side of things, and he's kind of a bit character. I really loved Nikki and Pug, man, as her like two sidekicks. Pug
Hmm.
was hilarious, and Nikki, played by Ginger Gonzaga, was just fantastic. I really enjoyed her presence on the show. Really brought some levity.
Yeah. How'd you like Jamila Jamil as Tatiana? Kind of like a
Wasted.
influencer, super powered character. Definitely an intriguing concept, I guess. And I think the show probably could have done something a bit more interesting with that than what they ended up doing.
I felt like she was completely wasted, honestly. And even in the finale, you kind of get all these characters wrapped up, but Titania isn't really touched on at all. She pops in, and Jennifer Walters is like, and Titania's here, and then she's like, okay, now we have to go and like talk
Hmm.
to Kevin, and like just
Yeah.
it just kind of forgotten. So I feel like they never really figured that aspect out of the show.
But see, the way the show ends, though, with being like, actually, most of the plot doesn't matter, to me, that's amazing. Like,
Yes.
there are like 30 Marvel movies. We're on like show 6 or 7 at this point. It's fine. Do
Yeah.
something funny and different.
Completely agree.
Pretty great, especially because you have the ability to do this with the She-Hulk fourth wall breaking. Like,
Mhm.
because like no one's like sitting on the edge of their seat waiting to see the Titania story resolve. It
Oh
doesn't
no.
matter. So do something that's way better than the Titania story could have ever been, which was this. You know,
I think
like the
it's just
stuff
like
with
why
Kevin,
get
like this open like mocking of Marvel writers room and like Feige like hi
Mhm.
being the overlord of all things, and like Kevin saying like, oh, but we have to bring in Ruffalo because we were introduce blah 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 to set up so and so, and then you
Yeah,
just have Walters be like, nah, save it for the movie. Like that's so great. Like she's just
yeah.
literally, it's just so funny.
No, I thought that was great. I think I just almost feel sad that it was Jamila Jamil in this role, right? Just
Yeah,
because she's so talented. It's like I just wanted to see her have a little bit more to do. I would have actually almost liked her to be the like opposing lawyer, who she befriends. I forgot her name. Um uh
not Daredevil, right?
Oh, no, no, no. Well, obviously we should talk about that real quick, but no, the other lawyer in the office who she's like rivals with, and then defends her in the
Right. Oh,
um
that's right. Yeah, I forgot her
against
name.
Titania. But yeah. Anyways, I think that's really not that big of a dent against the success of the show. Tell me about your thoughts on Daredevil being in this.
Yeah, so he's in the last 2 episodes. Obviously, on its surface, makes sense. Matt Murdock is a lawyer, so easy tie in there. But you know what? Charlie Cox definitely felt like how he used to be on the Marvel Netflix Daredevil series. Didn't seem any different to me, and I actually really liked that dynamic that those two had together. The fact they hooked up, I think, is amazing. That was really fun, and seeing
Yep.
Daredevil walking home, doing the
Walk of
classic one
shame.
night stand walk when with his shoes off, hilarious. That sounds great. I'm not would not be shocked if we see She-Hulk pop up in that Daredevil series coming out in
Yeah.
2024, given they announced that that's an 18 episode series. Surely they have room for that. Yeah, I thought he was pretty fun. I also thought Wong uh, was
Yeah.
pretty fun as well early on, just because Benedict Wong can really do like the humor of his character
Hmm.
well, and those were really funny episodes, man. And Wong was great, and actually having him kind of interface with Emil as well later on, I thought was quite fun. So like the Marvel like tie-ins and connections, insignificant, but actually done pretty well and enjoyable in this series. It didn't feel like the MCU was breathing down She-Hulk's neck.
Yeah, I agree. It was really funny to me when Tatiana as Jennifer Walters is like, Wong's in this episode again. It's almost like a cheat code, or however she said it. Like, who doesn't enjoy Wong being here? Also, I just want to clean this up. I was the person I was thinking of was Mallory, who was played by Renee Elise
Elise
Goldsberry.
Goldsberry.
So,
Yep.
uh, who's fantastic. So just shout out
Yeah.
to her. Um, yeah, I think overall, just want to see more of this sort of stuff from Marvel. What's the next Marvel show? Is it the teenage one?
The next show is until early next year, which would be Secret Invasion.
Mm,
So we really have no indication of where She-Hulk will be next. Probably Daredevil, honestly. They
yep.
kind of really quickly introduce Bruce Banner son, Hulk's son, Scar.
Scar.
I would not be shocked if a She-Hulk and Scar film is in the works. Of course, as we know, the Hulk, Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner Hulk film rights are murky with Universal's involvement still. We don't know when that expires exactly, but I wonder if She-Hulk and Scar is a way to skirt that for Marvel Studios. I'm not sure. Who knows? Um, Also, I think just one kind of note I had about this the series was Tatiana Maslany having romance issues and dating troubles. Completely uncredible. Obviously, she's a
I
beautiful
mean,
woman.
yeah, that's like a critique you can make for any show.
Yep.
Basically, they're always beautiful people. So yeah, but I mean, I liked when she was in like the clothes that were like 5 times her size when she like unhulked and she's just wearing like men's XXXXL like
Yeah.
clothes. I just always loved seeing that. That was funny. Yeah, the show was a delight, and you don't get to say that a lot about Marvel shows, so I'm happy for that.